Hi, I'm Marina Schiptjenko from Andréhn-Schiptjenko, a gallery in Stockholm where we are now, where we also have a gallery in Paris. But right now we're standing live from our space here on Linnégatan, Östermalm, Stockholm. And behind the camera is Hannah, actually. You're going to
Hi. So, yeah.
So this is what we're going to talk to you about today and show you is the show called Gossip by the Mexican artist Martín Soto Climent. He's born in 1977 in Mexico City and he lives and works there.
Yeah, and of course, he's been very much shown in Mexico, but this is our first exhibition, but this is also the first time he's actually shown in Scandinavia, correct?
True. So it's our first exhibition with him, and he's also shown for the first time in Scandinavia, but he has been widely exhibited internationally before this.
Yes, we're taking a brief look around the room here. You have to excuse us, the camera is a bit shaky as we're walking around. But what are we actually seeing here in this, in the gallery room?
We are looking at works from two different series. One is called Gossip, and that's also the title of the entire exhibition. And also the larger black and white works come from a series called Origins. And hopefully you'll see that the material in these works are nylon stockings. So if we start with a small object called Gossip, there are it's one nylon stocking per work, and it's also a plexiglass mirror in the back, and then it's framed in this cedar box.
Yeah, it's like stockings. This is of course what you see in all the works, and it's a material that he often circles back to. But what relevance does stockings hold to Martín? As material or concept?
Yeah, I think one. It's important to point out that it's one intact nylon stocking per work, and the material. I think it's a very intimate material. It's a material that we all have a relation to, and it's also in line of his. I think his method, to work with something that is a simple everyday material, and in this case it also sort of suggests a second skin. So it has a material like a nylon stocking actually has several layers of meaning if you work with it in this way.
Yeah, of course it's a very gendered material. There's like this sort of femininity and...
It can relate to that. It can relate to, as I said, the second skin. But also I think, the material is of course very important. But also if we look at the objects as works, I think they have several layers. You can find fractals in them. It's like a very sort of generic shape that you find in nature. They refer to loudspeakers because the title Gossip is of course also. To gossip is a very intimate way to communicate. So the intimacy in these works are related to the material he uses.
Yeah, and also one of the key concepts which he very much circled back to at, the artist talk he had at the opening, is this idea of like non-intervention and the material in the way he approaches his works.
True. I think it's very important for him that, almost, as nature, that nothing is left and nothing is left over. And this material, you could basically unwrap this sculpture, and the original material hasn't been violated or cut in or changed in any way. So I think we have a symbolic meaning in that too for Martín.
Yeah, this non-transformation, everything returns to its original state. He's very much, he has this it's a philosophy in his works, which he always constantly circles back to. You see it in other projects, like his large-scale installations. He's shown at Palais de Tokyo also, where he did this massive installations with the stockings. You see it in other works where he works with, window blinds. But basically, he transforms everyday objects, and it has sort of a surrealist, connotation to it.
Absolutely. The material he uses it should be able to return to its original state as they were first. But also it relates I mean, I think we shouldn't forget that he has a slight humor in this too, and
like in Gossip 69.
exactly. If you can have a closer look at this work, I hope you see the figures 6 and 9 in this diptych by him.
That is also the with the surrealism, the imbued eroticism. Like the stocking also has some material. There's something fetishist about it. It's the idea of the female body. It's a transformation.
Absolutely. But I also think when I talked to Martin at the opening, I clearly remember him saying also that the act of doing this works were quite special, because he had to sort of put his ego aside. He has to be very, very careful when he works with the stockings. And as you can see, it's quite intricate shapes that he creates. So I think also the creation of them are quite important to him, because you have to be very, very careful, as he said, almost in a meditative state, and to put your ego aside to intuitively create these shapes. And that's why I circle back to the fractals, because I, at least, and I know many with me are associating to, it's almost like a nebula. It's an origin shape from nature, and that's fractals. So it's almost also slightly mathematic, and it has to do with geometry. So as you see, we have a lot of different layers in these works.
Yeah. And also I think about, one thing that I read about, for example, with his these origin series also, because of course he's a very contemplative artist in the way he works. You see that he refers to poetry, he refers to art history, and with these, as we talked about, this non-interventions in the material, the works themselves, instead of you take this canvas, you apply it with paint, you make a permanent impact. In these works, he uses the stockings to stretch it over the canvas to create this trace of a movement more. So it's like the concept of a painting. But is he very conceptual? Do you have to have a concept to approach his work? Do you have to be very read up on that, or?
Well, that's the beauty of it. You don't. I don't think you have to know anything about surrealism or anything like it. I think these are works that you can approach very intuitively, and also, with just a very open mind, because I think you see. I think you can relate to the shapes. I have had people associate that they think of earlobes, they think of mathematics, they think of loudspeakers. So these works can definitely be just approached with an open mind and without any knowledge about art history or surrealism or anything.
Yeah, it's open in that respect. But, well, this is a brief introduction to our exhibition, of course. As we're still open in Stockholm, if you have the chance, why don't you drop by? And, well, we're of course happy that you joined us.
Indeed.
And if you want to continue to follow us, you can always follow us on Instagram on Andréhn-Schiptjenko, where you'll find us. And we say thank you and goodbye.
Bye.